Most people are ghosts, not dead, not buried, but ghosts nonetheless, drifting through life without weight, without substance, without any reason to truly live. They wake up, not because they want to, but because they have to. They eat to fill the stomach, not to fuel a mission. They go to work, come home, scroll mindlessly, and try to sleep through the night without confronting the truth gnawing at them in the dark. What truth? That something is missing. There's no why, no fuel, no fire. And without that fire, they fall into a slow-motion collapse. No external disaster needed. No villain in the shadows. Just the slow rot of a life lived without direction. That's what happens when you don't know your purpose. You drift, you stall, you decay from the inside out. And then, one day, you realize you're exhausted. Not from doing too much, but from doing too little that actually matters. You're not burned out from passion. You're burned out from emptiness, from the endless grind of going through the motions with no reward that feeds the soul. Let me tell you something most will never say out loud. Life doesn't get easier. It doesn't slow down for you. It doesn't wait for you to figure things out. It won't apologize for the time you wasted. It will keep moving. It will keep testing. And it will keep breaking you until you give it a reason to stop. You want motivation? You want discipline? You want strength? You better stop chasing hacks and tips and tricks. You better stop waiting for some mystical push of inspiration. You need a reason, not a superficial goal, not a six-pack or a number in your bank account, not applause or likes or praise from people who don't matter. I'm talking about something deeper, a major purpose, a mission that rips you out of bed like a soldier hearing the call of war, a reason to sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and discipline your emotions. Because you have something to serve that's bigger than your fear. Without that, you're weak. It doesn't matter how tough you look. It doesn't matter what mask you wear in public. If you have no purpose, you will break the first time real pressure hits. Because purpose is pressure's antidote. It's what makes pain make sense. It's what turns suffering into transformation. It's what makes every setback a lesson instead of a death sentence. You see, the world isn't against you. It's just indifferent to the purposeless. It doesn't care what you say you want. It doesn't reward intentions. It rewards conviction. It rewards those who know what they're here for and live accordingly. So let me ask you something real. Why are you still pretending that drifting is acceptable? Why are you tolerating a life of vague desires and empty promises to yourself? Why are you still waiting for a sign when every moment of your suffering is the sign? Do you really think your pain is random? That pit in your stomach when you waste another day? That anger you feel when you see someone doing what you dream of doing? That deep frustration you bury under addiction, comfort, and fake smiles? That's your soul screaming at you. Screaming to wake up. Screaming to remember why you were put here. Screaming to stop hiding behind excuses and step into the battlefield of your own becoming. Because here's the truth, warrior. No cavalry is coming. No one is going to rescue you from your meaningless life. No one is going to hand you your purpose on a silver platter. You must earn it. You must forge it. You must suffer for it. And that process is going to break the old version of you. The coward, the slacker, the liar, the people pleaser. The version of you that keeps settling, quitting, and blaming. All of that must die. And in its place, you build a new self. One who walks with intention. One who does not bend to pressure, but becomes pressure. One who lives each day like it's the only shot they've got to write a legacy in stone. You think that's extreme? Good. Because this life demands extremes. This life rewards the obsessed. This life was never meant to be soft. Comfort is for those who've already achieved what they were born to do. Until then, comfort is poison. Your calling, the reason you were born, is buried beneath every lie you've ever told yourself. Lies like, I'll start tomorrow. I don't have time. I'm not good enough. I don't know how. Enough. Enough of the pity. Enough of the waiting. Enough of the indecision. You want a reason to live? Then become the kind of person worthy of purpose. Fight through the noise. Discipline your thoughts. Face your demons head on. And keep moving. Even when it's dark. Even when it hurts. Even when you're alone. Because purpose doesn't come to the passive. It comes to the relentless. And when you find it, you'll never be the same. You'll move differently. Speak differently. Breathe differently. You'll become a weapon in a world full of soft targets. A storm with no off switch. A soul that can't be broken. Because it's already been reforged in fire. Your purpose is not a luxury. It's not optional. It's the oxygen of your soul. Without it, you suffocate slowly, dying while you live. But with it, you are unstoppable. You become something this world has no defense against. A human being with nothing to lose and everything to live for. You felt it, didn't you? That fire rising in your chest as the truth pierced through the noise. The realization that you can't drift anymore. That you can't keep waiting for purpose to fall into your lap. That if you don't define your mission, you'll be destroyed by the weight of a life lived in circles. But don't just feel the fire. Use it. Now we forge it into something tangible, something real, something permanent. You're not here for another motivational high. You're here to build the blueprint for your definite purpose, one step at a time. So step forward into the work. Here are 5 brutal, honest steps to uncover the mission you were born to live. Do not rush them. Do not fake them. Because what you uncover next will either become your salvation or the final excuse you bury your future in. Let's begin. Step 1. Confront the void. Before you build a life worth living, you must face the parts of your life that are already dying. You must confront the void. Most people never do this. They distract themselves with noise, numb themselves with entertainment, drown themselves in busyness, because they're afraid of what the silence might say. But if you want to find your purpose, if you want to truly live, then the first thing you must do is face the uncomfortable truth. You're not fulfilled. Not fully. Not deeply. Not consistently. And that's not because life is unfair. It's because something essential is missing. And you've been pretending it's not. So stop. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending your routine is enough. Stop acting like you're okay living in neutral. Because here's the hard truth. You cannot find your purpose until you admit you're lost. You can't build a life of power if you're still clinging to a life of passivity. The first step toward purpose is destruction. You must destroy the illusion that what you've been doing is good enough. Because it isn't. If it were, you wouldn't feel this hollow ache in your chest. You wouldn't feel this persistent sense of, there's more than this. And you wouldn't be here, reading this, asking for something real. The exercise: rip off the mask. Take a moment, alone, No noise, no distractions, just you and the truth. Open a journal or a blank document. Title the page, Where I Feel Empty. Then write. List the top 5 areas of your life that drain you, that steal your energy, that feel pointless, repetitive, or suffocating. Be brutally honest. Write like no one will ever see it, because no one should. This is not for social media. This is not for validation. This is between you and the future version of yourself who refuses to live small. Are you working a job that pays you, but kills your soul? Are your relationships built on obligation instead of depth? Are your daily routines keeping you busy, but getting you nowhere? Are you saying yes to everyone except yourself? Write it all. Then, next to each one, write this simple question. Why am I still doing this? Not in a sarcastic tone, not in blame. Ask it with reverence. Ask it like your life depends on the answer, because it does. And don't stop until the excuses fall away and you're left staring at the truth. You're still doing it because it's safe, because it's familiar, because it's what others expect of you, because you're afraid of what happens if you stop. That's the void. That's the prison you've been calling home. That's the lie that's been stealing your years. And now that you've named it, you've done something most never do. You've woken up. What this step actually does. This isn't about wallowing. This is about clearing space. You're not here to decorate the cage. You're here to shatter it. By naming where you feel empty, you make room for truth. And where there's truth, purpose can enter. Because until you admit where you're bleeding, you'll never know what needs to be healed. Until you admit where you're dead, you'll never know what it feels like to truly live. Final warning. You'll be tempted to skip this, to glance over it, to do it half-heartedly, to say, I already know where I'm unhappy. No, knowing is not enough. You must write it, face it, sit with it, feel the discomfort until it makes you move. This is the cleansing before the rebirth. This is you staring the enemy in the face and realizing it's not out there. It's in here. It's the parts of you that have stayed silent when your soul begged you to speak. Confront the void, because until you do, you'll keep drifting toward death while pretending to be alive. And that's not why you were born. Once this step is done, you'll feel something shift. A strange, quiet clarity. A spark. That's not just relief. That's your mission clearing its throat in the silence. It's the first breath of the warrior within you, waking up from the coma. And it all begins here, in the ashes of what no longer serves you. Step 2. Inventory. Your pain and passions. If you want to find your definite purpose, don't just look to the stars. Look into the scars. Most people try to find their path by following trends, chasing money, or copying others they think are successful. But purpose doesn't come from imitation. Purpose comes from fire, from what's burned you, from what's haunted you, from what won't let you go. The world taught you to hide your wounds, to bury your failures, to cover your shame in a mask of strength. But in this step, we rip that mask off. We drag every demon into the light. Because what broke you is often the key to what builds you. If your purpose isn't forged from your own battles, your own heartbreak, your own war against the darkness, then it will never be strong enough to carry you through the hell that's coming. Because hell always comes. And only a mission born from the depths can survive the fire. The philosophy, scars, point the way. There's a brutal elegance in this truth. Your greatest pain often reveals your greatest calling. Why? Because pain demands meaning. Because trauma creates urgency. Because suffering leaves you with two choices: collapse or rise. And those who rise with purpose are almost always the ones who've tasted blood. The ones who had to transform. The ones who swore, "This will not be the end of me." But pain alone isn't enough. You also need the flame. You need the things that ignite you. The moments where you felt alive, raw, electric, powerful. The people you'd bleed for. The passions you'd chase even if no one applauded. The impact you dream of making, but were too afraid to admit out loud. That's where the clues live. Your purpose doesn't just rise from suffering. It rises from your response to suffering, from the rebellion, from the wild refusal to stay broken. The exercise: dual columns of truth. Take out a blank page. Split it into two columns. Left side: pain that marked me. Write down the 5 most intense hardships you've lived through. Be specific. Don't sugarcoat them. Don't write what sounds deep. Write what still hurts. Write what shaped you. Write what nearly killed you, but didn't. These can be personal betrayals, addictions, humiliations, losses, failures, even near-death moments. Anything that carved a permanent mark into your identity. These are not weaknesses. These are the dark forges where your steel was made. Right side: what sets me on fire. Now list 5 things, causes, ideas, or actions that awaken something primal in you. Not what you're good at. Not what makes money. Not what you should do. Write what makes you forget to eat. Write what makes your blood move. Write what you think about in the shower, or at 3 a.m. when everything else is quiet. What problem do you feel called to solve? What topic makes you emotional? What would you give your life to if failure wasn't an option? This isn't about picking a hobby. This is about finding where your soul ignites. Step back and observe the patterns. Once you've completed both columns, study them. Look for echoes. Look for overlap. Look for tension. Those places where your pain and your passion collide. Did a childhood wound give you empathy for others suffering the same way? Did failure in a past dream ignite your obsession with discipline or teaching? Did betrayal fuel a vow to protect others from the same? Did your own rock bottom make you obsessed with transformation? That intersection, where pain meets passion, is the forge of purpose. Because when your life mission is fueled by both agony and fire, you become unstoppable. You're no longer chasing motivation. You're being dragged forward by something eternal. Why? This step is non-negotiable. If you skip this, if you refuse to look at your past, if you try to construct purpose from surface-level thinking and borrowed ideas, you'll build something fragile. You'll fold the moment it hurts. And it will hurt. But when your purpose is born from your deepest truth, no outside pressure can match your internal drive. You'll bleed for it. You'll sacrifice for it. You'll endure ridicule, isolation, and setbacks. Because you know why you're here. And no one can take that from you. Final warning. This will hurt. Don't expect this step to feel good. It's going to open old wounds. It's going to stir old ghosts. It's going to whisper lies in your ear, trying to get you to stop. Don't. Push through. You're not doing this to feel better. You're doing this to find truth. And truth isn't always pleasant, but it's always powerful. And once you see the pattern between your pain and your passion, you'll never be able to unsee it. You'll feel it in your bones. You'll know you're getting close. Because that fire you're looking for, it's already inside you. You just needed to dig through the ashes to find it. And now that you've seen it flicker, now that you've glimpsed the intersection where your pain and your purpose align, you are no longer the same. You're no longer sleepwalking. You are becoming. Keep going. The path is forming, one truth at a time. Step 3. Identify your core drivers. You've faced the emptiness. You've excavated the pain and unearthed your passion. Now comes the step that separates those who walk with meaning from those who die with regret. You must identify the core driver, the force that will fuel your purpose for a lifetime. This step isn't about finding what sounds noble. It's not about fitting into society's mold of what you should care about. It's not about what's trending, what pays the most, or what makes the people around you comfortable. This is about the reason you are still breathing, the reason your heart hasn't stopped, the reason something inside you refuses to surrender. Because no one stays on the path of purpose without a deeper why. A core driver that pulls them through the fire when everything else is screaming for them to quit. You can master skills. You can gain knowledge. You can build discipline. But without a core driver, you will fall. What is a core driver? A core driver is your emotional nucleus. It's the outcome that makes pain worth it. It's the feeling you crave behind every goal, every dream, every act of defiance against mediocrity. And if you don't define it, then you'll be pulled in every direction, chasing shadows, confusing movement with meaning, effort with fulfillment. You'll build the wrong life. You'll climb the wrong mountain. And by the time you reach the top, you'll be too numb to even enjoy the view. So let's not let that happen. The exercise: cut through the noise. This isn't a brainstorming session. This is surgery. You're digging into the raw muscle of what drives your behavior and reclaiming control. Ask yourself the following 3 questions and write the answers without hesitation, without filters, and without trying to sound wise or put together. 1. If I could solve one problem in the world, it would be: forget what you think is possible. Forget what seems realistic. This question is designed to find what enrages you, what breaks your heart, what problem you can't ignore even if no one paid you to fix it. What injustice keeps you up at night? What gap in the world cries out for your hands to mend it? This is a signal, because what you're drawn to solve is often what you're built to solve. 2. If I died tomorrow, I'd regret never. This is the gut punch. Forget legacy. Forget money. Forget what others think. What is the one thing that you'd hate to leave undone? What mission, message, or act of creation must be finished before you leave this world? If your time was up, what would make you whisper, "Damn, I didn't do it"? That regret, that ghost of a dream, name it. Because that might be your most sacred duty. 3. When do you feel most alive? Think back. What were you doing the last time you felt truly awake? Not distracted, not entertained. Alive? Maybe it was building something. Maybe it was helping someone. Maybe it was competing, teaching, creating, fighting. Whatever it was, that feeling matters. Because purpose must be felt, not just spoken. If it doesn't light you up, it won't last. Now, pattern recognition. Review your answers. Don't look for perfection. Look for themes. Are you driven by justice, freedom, impact, creation, transformation? Do you want to liberate others from the pain you once lived through? Do you want to build something that will outlast you? Do you want to ignite others with truth, fire, and clarity? You're not a machine. You're a force. But you need to know what you're being aimed at. And these answers will tell you. Forge your fuel. Translate desire into drive. Here's where it gets real. Take your raw answers and write a core driver statement. This is not a slogan. It's not a motivational quote. This is the emotional fuel source that will power you when the world is against you. It's the answer to, why am I doing this? When you're tired, alone, and ready to collapse. Format. I am driven by the desire to emotional need or outcome, because why this matters to your soul. Examples. I am driven by the desire to awaken power in those who've been silenced, because I once had no voice, and I know what it costs. I am driven by the desire to master myself, because I refuse to be owned by anything or anyone ever again. I am driven by the desire to build generational strength, because I was born into weakness, and I swore it ends with me. Feel it? You're not guessing anymore. You're anchoring. You're locking into the internal why that transforms pressure into purpose. Why this matters. Most people never do this. They chase titles, they chase attention, they chase money, but none of those things are sustainable without a core driver. That's why people burn out. That's why they keep switching lanes, quitting projects, ghosting their goals. Because they never connected what they do to why they must do it. But not you. Not anymore. You've peeled back the surface. You've felt the pulse underneath the ambition. You've named your reason. And now, every decision you make will be measured against this fire. If it doesn't serve your core driver, it gets burned. If it feeds the mission, it gets fuel. Simple, efficient, unstoppable. Final words. When you own your why, you own the world. Purpose isn't just discovered. It's chosen. It's defined. It's protected like a sacred flame. And your core driver? That's the torch. It's the light in the tunnel, the compass in the storm. The voice in your mind that says, keep going. This matters. So don't take this lightly. Revisit it often. Refine it. Etch it into your bones. Because when life tries to break you, and it will, this is what will remind you. You were born for something greater. And now, you finally know what it is. Step 4. Write your warrior statement. You've unearthed the void. You've mapped your pain. You've identified the raw fire driving your existence. Now comes the moment where smoke becomes form, where emotion becomes language, where chaos becomes code. This step is not about sounding poetic. It's not about creating a nice mission statement you hang on a wall and forget in a week. This is where you declare your war cry, the personal oath that defines the kind of life you will live or die for. This is your warrior statement. A single sentence that makes your purpose undeniable. A sentence you can carve into your mind. A sentence that will echo through the walls of your weakness until you become the version of yourself you were meant to be. Why this step matters. Purpose dies in vagueness. If your mission is blurry, your actions will be sloppy. If you don't define what you fight for, the world will hand you something meaningless to waste your life on. Most people say they want to help people, or be successful, or make a difference. But these aren't missions. They're excuses to stay in the safe zone. Your warrior statement is the opposite. It cuts through the fog and exposes the core of your being. It leaves no room for confusion, no room for excuses, no room for retreat. When written properly, this sentence becomes your internal GPS. It governs your choices. It kills distraction. It reminds you who the hell you are when the world tries to make you forget. The anatomy of a warrior statement. The most powerful warrior statements follow a core structure. My purpose is to take action for who, what, so that, impact. Let's break that down. My purpose is to. This creates commitment. It forces you to stop playing passive. Take action. Purpose is tied to doing, not dreaming. What do you do in service of your purpose? For who or what? Who are you fighting for? What injustice are you correcting? So that, what is the lasting impact? What outcome drives you to endure hell and rise again? Examples of warrior statements. My purpose is to awaken those trapped in self-doubt, so that they may rise with clarity, discipline, and power. My purpose is to build a world of dangerous thinkers, so that the masses can no longer be controlled through fear, lies, or weakness. My purpose is to turn my trauma into truth and teach others how to do the same, so we no longer carry the weight of our past in silence. My purpose is to serve as the final line of defense for those forgotten by this world, so that no one else has to suffer without a sword to stand beside them. These are not hobbies. They are vows. Oaths written in blood, forged from pain, and lit by unshakable inner fire. When you write your own warrior statement, you are not describing what you want. You are declaring who you are becoming. The exercise. Craft the oath. Set the scene. Go somewhere quiet. No phones. No noise. No interruptions. You're about to write the code your future self will live by. Review your steps. Reread your pain and passion inventory. Review your core drivers. Look at what enraged you. What called to you. What felt non-negotiable. Free write first. Without thinking about format, write 2 to 3 paragraphs about what matters to you most. Let it be messy. Let it be raw. Don't write what's beautiful. Write what's true. What would you fight for until the day you die? Extract the sentence. Now refine, compress, sharpen. Forge the fire down into one powerful sentence. Make it clear. Make it impossible to misunderstand. Make it something you could scream in a storm while bleeding, and still mean it. Test it. Ask, would I die for this? Would I live for this? Does this sentence pierce through my excuses and strike the heart of my being? If the answer is yes, lock it in. Burn it into your soul. Once your warrior statement is written, do not file it away. Print it and tape it to your wall. Memorize it. Say it out loud every morning like a ritual. Let it be the first thing you think of when you wake up, and the last thing you hear before sleep. This isn't just a sentence anymore. This is your code of war. And in the moments when life tries to drag you back into mediocrity, this sentence will act like a blade pressed to your throat, whispering, "Did you forget your vow?" Final warning, no one can write this for you. This can't be copied. It can't be outsourced. You can't fake this step. You must write this alone. Because it's the line between living a life of purpose or dying in the fog of regret. Every time you feel lost, every time you question your path, every time you want to quit, you come back to this. This sentence is your anchor in chaos, your compass in storms, your truth when everything else is noise. So write it, bleed for it, and never, ever let it go. Because when you finally have a warrior statement etched into your mind and spirit, you're no longer wandering. You're becoming. And there's nothing more dangerous than a human being who knows exactly what they're here to do. Step 5. Burn the bridge behind you. So you've confronted the void. You've mapped your pain. You've uncovered your fire. You've forged your warrior statement. Now comes the moment of no return. This is where the old version of you dies. Because a purpose is worthless if you keep dragging your past with you. If you keep walking with one foot in your mission and one foot in mediocrity. If you keep looking back, hoping the life you say you want will carry you while you refuse to release the life you're still clinging to. No. Purpose demands a sacrifice. It demands that you burn the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. Why this step matters. You've done the inner work. You've touched the edge of your truth. But if you don't take decisive external action, your insight will rot. Awareness without execution becomes poison. Purpose without movement becomes delusion. This is where most people fail. They get fired up, write a mission, feel the high of clarity, and then they go back to the same patterns, the same people, the same habits. And those chains, those invisible rituals of mediocrity, pull them right back into the prison they were trying to escape. That ends here. This step is where you torch the exit. You remove plan B. You break the safety net. You commit with blood. The philosophy: you can't be reborn if you won't die first. You can't carry your purpose with soft hands. You can't walk a path of fire with yesterday's skin. You can't wear the robes of a warrior if you're still bowing to the comforts of a coward. Transformation requires termination, not just of habits, not just of relationships, but of identity. The soft version of you, the passive, addicted, distracted, aimless you, must be buried, and its grave must never be marked. That's what burning the bridge means. It's a violent, permanent, undeniable decision to never go back. The exercise, the ritual of no return. This is your final test, and it begins with a two-part purge, one of elimination and one of initiation. Part 1. Identify and eliminate the dead weight. Answer this with ruthless honesty. What must die for me to live my purpose fully? Write down 3 things. No more. No less. A toxic habit. A draining relationship. A mindless distraction. A daily ritual that pulls you further from your mission. An environment that rewards your weakness instead of your growth. A belief that keeps your identity chained to failure. You already know what it is. You've always known. Now, write it. Then cross it out in red. And next to it write, "This ends today." Then prove it. Delete it. Block it. Cut it off. Burn the journal. Cancel the subscription. Quit the job. Throw away the bottle. End the conversation. Sell the comfort. Walk out the door. Make it real. Because until it costs you something, you haven't truly committed. Part 2. Define your new rituals of power. Now ask, what must I do every day to become the version of me who fulfills this mission? List 3 new daily rituals that will anchor your purpose. These must be specific, non-negotiable, and measurable. Examples. Every morning I recite my warrior statement and train for 45 minutes before speaking to the world. Every night I journal one action I took in service of my mission. Every week I teach or share one lesson learned from my purpose journey to someone else. Do not pick rituals that sound cool. Pick rituals that forge discipline, build momentum, and remind you who you are. These aren't tasks, they're sacred oaths. Mark them in your calendar. Track them. Honor them like your life depends on it. Because it does. Why burning the bridge works. Once you take this step, a shift happens. You don't just have a purpose. You become someone with no alternative, no fallback, no compromise. Every decision becomes binary. Does this align with my mission, or does it weaken it? Does this feed the fire, or feed the fear? Does this sharpen the blade, or rust it? The bridge is gone. There's only forward now. And that pressure, that tension, that intensity, that's your advantage. Because warriors aren't forged in safety. They're forged in consequences. Final words. The point of no return. You're not looking for more motivation. You're not here for inspiration. You're here because something inside of you knows. The clock is ticking. You've wasted enough time. This is it. If you walk back after this step, it's because you chose weakness. Because you chose comfort. Because you chose the illusion of safety over the reality of becoming. But if you burn the bridge, if you remove every way out, if you tie your mission to your identity and take relentless daily action toward it, then you'll become something different. Not better, not bigger, but clear, dangerous, purpose-bound. So do it. Light the match, burn what must be burned, and walk forward into the fire with no map, no backup plan, no way back. Because that's where real life begins, and you've waited long enough to start living it. You've walked through the fire. You didn't flinch. You didn't turn away. You faced the void, unearthed the truth, and chose to carve a path where most only dream. You did what most never will. You stopped pretending. You named your pain. You listened to the voice beneath the noise. And now, you stand with something few will ever know. Clarity. Clarity of purpose. Clarity of direction. Clarity of who the hell you are and why you exist. But don't mistake this for the end. This isn't a finish line. It's your beginning. And beginnings are brutal because they demand everything. Your habits must align. Your actions must reflect your vow. Your circle must evolve or be cut. And every decision from this point forward must be judged by one measure. Does this serve my purpose or sabotage it? There is no middle ground. Not anymore. Because you've burned the bridge. You've chosen the path of the few, the path of the relentless, the path of those who live while others sleepwalk. So walk forward, warrior, with your oath written in fire, with your mission etched into your blood. And remember, there is no turning back, only the next move, the next act of discipline, the next battle. This is your life now, and you finally know why. This concludes crafting a relentless purpose. You are now ready to progress further on the GrimFace path to victory.